Behold this ancient tome, stolen from the Dark Magus himself. The Magical Theory of the Multiverse, a compendium of magical knowledge. Within its pages, you will be taught by the greatest casters the multiverse has ever known. It's strange, though. The tome seems to be damaged, and what knowledge it has remaining is oozing out. Listen.
What is magic? Magical energy begins as phonons, inert particles in the air that weakly cling to solid matter, but can easily be blown in the wind like microscopic spores. These spores absorb the natural energies of the world, absorbing energy that leaks into the world from other elemental planes. Upon soaking up enough energy, they begin attempting to clump together. It is this clumping together that forms air, a very unstable source of energy capable of powerful but catastrophic anomalies. If air is allowed to build up, they can cause explosive jumps in monster evolution or breeding speed, cause intense mutations in the area, flora and fauna changing and becoming more aggressive. It can even cause rifts to form, ripping the fabric of reality and connecting one world with another, allowing who knows what horror to slip through. However, air has its beneficial uses as well. As air is completely chaotic, it can result in positive mutations as easily as negative, resulting in previously crazed monsters to become sentient and even sophisticated. Air can also become benign and settle. If all the phonons making up the air becomes a single element, the chaotic phase begins to expend the lesser elements of the combination. It can stabilize and become the mana that mages and wizards commonly use. As mana is essential for any magic user, the more dangerous the air in the world, and the greater the catastrophes resulted from it trying to stabilize, the greater the uses and potential for magic in the world, and the more responsible its users must be not to abuse its power, else calamities of greater magnitude are possible.
The cycle of magic. The cycle of magic is a self-repairing system that maintains magic in all of its forms to exist. And the magic users of the world play a vital role in it, demanding responsibility and caution from all who handle the elemental energy. As stated before, phonons absorb the elemental energy that leaks into the world and clings to physical objects. The charged phonons then group together haphazardly, becoming air. The air attempts to become a single element by expending the other elemental phonons through powerful catastrophic events, creating more inert phonons, and the dominant element becomes mana. As phonons exist in the air, simply being alive grants anyone the chance to become a magic user, if they are trained in it, using the inert phonons absorbed in your body to reach out and connect with the mana in the world, allowing you to perform astounding feats of power. Upon expending magic, phonons in your body weaken slightly and must recover, while the mana in the air dissipates, becoming inert phonons, starting the process all over again. If either the phonons in your body or the mana existing in the air become weakened dangerously by overuse, magic can fail, leaving a magic user unable to cast any magic at all, regardless of the power of the other. Because of this, mages are encouraged to practice their art often, but responsibly. For too much usage can drain themselves and the environment, but too little can weaken both as well, reducing the power of the phonons within the body, as well as reduce the amount of inert phonons in the atmosphere, limiting the amount of mana capable of being created through the cycle. Especially as technology and research enables a society to capture mana in bottles. The mage's duty to see that the cycle continue properly grows.
Elemental energy!
Let me go first.
Fine!
Elemental magic is made up of 3 smaller branches by those who use it. Black magic deals mostly with the mixture of black phonons as a dominant mix with the other elements, conjuring curses, charms, and attacking spells.
White magic deals in just the opposite, using light phonons as the dominant mix to form healing and protection spells, as well as a few very powerful spells.
Shamanism deals with the other elements: air, fire, water, earth, and lightning for their spells. They have the weakest and yet the most complex of spells, which is why a vast majority of demons and supernatural creatures focus on it so much.
There is some controversy as to how many elements there are in the world. Most agree on the initial 7 elements: fire, water, thunder, wind, earth, light, and dark. Though some believe that thunder is a part of wind, and nature should be put in its place. The true controversy is the inclusion of 2 new elements, sonic and non-elemental, as it has been found that inert phonons are still capable of being used for magic, despite having no charge, creating strange results. However, as the debate is yet undecided, we shall leave it to your discretion to experiment independently.
Should be explained first, however, to avoid confusion. While air is formed from multiple elements in unstable form, it is possible for a mage to combine and experiment with different stable mana elements much more safely. Though, as with anything with magic, anomalies can have catastrophic results. Sub-elements exist as a result of this. It is here that the nature element is placed, along with such combinations like lava, ice, and shadow magic. It is important to remember the distinction between air and sub-elements for safety and precautionary reasons, as experimenting with air can be extremely dangerous.
Incredibly powerful wizards and sorceresses can combine the 3 schools into even greater magic, known as Elemental Essence spells. Elemental Essence spells are the spells used with the aid of either air or mana that the caster creates within their bodies with the use of the phonons around them. They then apply that raw energy into an attack usually cast with elemental magic. These spells tend to lack any singular element, but are not to be confused with sub-elemental or non-elemental spells. It is unclear whether this magic is actually more powerful, however, as it still requires a massive amount of power and training. So theoretically, a normal elemental spell of the same magnitude should be just as powerful.
It is important to note, however, that spells with this magnitude that focus more on light or dark phonons tend to be potentially world-ending, both because of sheer power and spell instability. Unless planetary destruction is the intended goal, even the most villainous of wizards is smart enough not to delve into such darkness for any reason.
Arcane energy. At first glance, it would seem that arcane phonons are the weakest form of magic. It uses only the mana that is gathered naturally within the body, through either constant meditation and study, or through sheer luck of lineage to being born with high tolerance to magic. Curiously, however, the common populace beyond the Temple of the Magi, the citizens, and indeed the lesser beings beyond, seem to gravitate towards it. I find this perplexing, for surely the elemental magic, being both powerful and, for the most part, stable, would be most relied upon. With this question in mind, I left the comfort of my sacred halls and went to the people. The scholars and magicians had much to say on the matter. Arcane magic is clearly not the weak force I believed, for it can do so much with so little. Indeed, the very floating isles that make up our wonderful utopia are maintained through the powers of the arcane. The enchanted golems that keep our fair cities clean and shining, the spells that light our streets and houses at night, even the boxes that keep our home and food cool in the summer and warm in the winter are powered through the arcane. The constant vigil our magisters keep that I once thought useless politics and pointless pandering to the public make our world function. I feel like a fool for having all these years being one of the Magi, and I did not see what was right in front of me. I have shared my findings with my fellow Magi, and have begun visiting the Magister's tower nearest to our temple. I have learned a nifty little spell that allows me to use the air pocketed inside my robes to alter the temperature of my skin, keeping me comfortable regardless of the weather. My fellow Magi see this as a waste of my valuable time, but the Master praised me before them, and encouraged the writing within this magical tome. Ha! Perhaps the darkness wing of the temple will not receive quite so many ignorant glares from the disciples now. But that is not the point. I must remember that my additions to this tome is not to further my own goals, but to help others.